Hi, guys, and welcome to our 2024 WWE Money in the Bank prediction video. So, yes, I'm back with Callum and introducing a newcomer to the channel, Sab. Yes, say hello, Sab.
Hello, everybody. It's good
Hello.
to be here.
Yes, so Sab is a friend of mine. I've done a few theatrical productions together last year, and so we've known each other about a year and a half. And like myself and Callum, he's a huge wrestling fan, and I've asked him to be on board on the YouTube channel alongside myself and Callum, and he said yes with a big happy smiley face. So welcome, Sab. Like he's already said that now. First video on the channel. So yes. So do you want to say a few words before we get started, Sab? Or
Yeah, no, super excited. Yeah, as you know, we're good mates now, acted with each other, seen each other's shows, and yeah, we've found out in that time that we were massive wrestling fans. We did start another podcast that died a very, very small death. I shouldn't really mention it. I don't want to curse this one,
oh,
but it's good that we're still on some kind of podcast chatting about wrestling, and I'm really excited that Money in the Bank is the first one to start with because it's always a good show, and I'm really super excited for this one. So can't wait to get chatting about it.
oh yeah, Money in the Bank is always one of my favorite pay-per-views. I'm sure you guys are great. The Money in the Bank ladder matches are always really fun. Despite the Money in the Bank briefcase is always a great gimmick in wrestling. So looking forward to it. Obviously, it's taking place in Canada this weekend. So yes, let's get to it. So the first match we have, might as well start off, yes, with a Money in the Bank ladder match for a women's championship match contract. So participating in this match, we have Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark. So, this one, personally, I think there's maybe a few women here who could win. Sab, it's your debut on the channel. It's your first video. I'll let you start, dude. Who have you got and why?
Well, like you said, there's quite a few different potential winners with this one. It's not so clear cut, but I think of all the women in this one, I think there's one person I think has probably got quite a lot of momentum going to this, and I think that's Tiffany Stratton.
Mm.
I like what they've been doing with her. They've really been kind of pushing her quite a lot recently. And in my opinion, I think she's above everybody else, the favourite to win this. I think it should be her as well. Like they've really made an effort to push her up as a star, and that would make no sense otherwise. If there has to be some kind of payoff. And I think the women's division needs a new kind of face,
Mm.
someone else to mix it. We don't know what happens with Becky. Alexa's not around. We've got Bianca and Jade doing their thing, so we need a new woman to kind of rise up. And I think Tiffany Stratton is that person. So that's why I think she is going to lift that briefcase.
All right, Tiffany Stratton. Thanks, Sab. Okay, Callum, who have you got?
Yeah, I agree with everything that Sab said. I thought when Tiffany Stratton first debuted, because I haven't really seen her much on NXT really, but I thought amazing, athlete. She got lots of, I remember when she was eliminated from the Elimination Chamber, and the crowd, I think it was Liv Morgan who eliminated her, and the crowd booed because they love Tiffany Stratton so much. Yeah, I just think she's obviously got this thing with Nia Jax at the moment. Nia Jax has got that match with Bayley at SummerSlam, so they might obviously do something there with their friendship. A little bit like what they did with Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, that's sort of a few years ago, when I think Alexa had the briefcase and it was a thing with Ronda Rousey or something. But yeah, I think, of other people who could win, I guess potentially Naomi. She's probably the only other one who maybe, I think it's a bit too early for Lyra Valkyria, and Zoe Stark is obviously a bit of a sort of hasn't really been built very much for it. But I think there's an obvious pick, and it is Tiffany Stratton, so that she can be, given the new stardom and be pushed on, which is what Money in the Bank's all about. So Tiffany Stratton for me too.
Okay, two for Tiffany Stratton. I think she is the favorite, like you guys have just said. Chelsea Green, I don't think so. Lyra Valkyria, she got to the final of the the Queen of the Ring tournament, but maybe
That
it's
would be something if she just
Oh yeah.
maybe it's a
if
bit
she
a
got to
bit
the front of the King of the Ring.
maybe it's a bit early for her to be winning Money in the Bank. Zoe Stark, I like Zoe Stark, and I know she's not got a lot of character, but as a wrestler, I like Zoe Stark, but yeah, as a character, she's very, very bland. So yeah, I think the favorite is Tiffany Stratton, but don't sleep on Naomi. She could have a good chance. Io Sky, maybe she wins it and cashes in on Bailey, gets revenge at SummerSlam. That would be cool.
I don't think 2 years back to back, because don't forget Io Sky won last year's as well. I mean, it has been done before.
Oh, she did. Yeah, I forgot she won last year. Well spotted, Callum. Okay, yeah, that's 3-3. I think we're all going with Tiffany Stratton. I think she's the favorite, and I think she'd be a great Money in the Bank holder. Yeah. Okay, well, let's move on then to a singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Yes, so we have Sami Zayn defending his belt, going up against Bron Breakker. Ooh, boy. So, yes, at Clash at the Castle, Sami Zayn beat Chad Gable. So now that feud's kind of gone off to its own thing. Been put on the back burner now with obviously Chad Gable's being targeted by the Wyatt Six. But anyway, we'll get onto that later. So anyway, then Bron Breakker came out and said he wanted a shot at Sami Zayn. And now the match has been confirmed by Adam Pearce. Yeah, Bron Breakker, since he's been on the main roster, has just been an absolute wrecking ball, as I think we all expected him. He's just been spearing and battering everybody. I think, I think there was a report saying that the WWE higher ups are very high on him. Like he's got the potential to be the next face of the company. And yeah, I like Bron Breakker. He was a great wrestler in NXT, of course, former NXT champion. I'll start with this one though. I don't think he's winning here. I think it's too soon in his main roster run to give him the IC championship. And I think he's also beefing with someone else at the minute. I can't remember who it is, but I think someone is good, maybe will cost him the match. Maybe he has Sami Zayn beat, but then someone cost him. Any of you guys know? I'm sure he's beefing with someone on Raw at the minute as well. Not Sami.
Ricochet, but he killed him.
Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe it could be a Bron Breakker squash for Sami, but I'm going to go with Sami Zayn to retain. But part of me thinks we could get a Bron Breakker squash. Oh no, he's the new Goldberg. But yeah, I'm going to say Sami Zayn, but that's a cautiously picked one. Okay, Callum, who have you got?
Well, yeah, I mean, this whole thing with Ricochet, obviously, he's leaving his contract after the summer and stuff like that. Which I technically guess it is summer now. So I don't know. Maybe he is actually off. Maybe they'll get one more match out of him or something with Bron Breakker at SummerSlam or something before he goes off. But I was hearing potential rumors he might be going to AEW fairly soon because his contract must be kind of finished soon. I just think you can't stop the momentum of Bron Breakker right now. I think Sami Zayn has had a decent, I know it's not been that long since WrestleMania, but I think he's had a decent set of matches against Chad Gable. But I think right now to carry on making him look unstoppable, be almost like a Brock Lesnar type when he'd won, he was winning titles quite early on in his, main roster coming and stuff like that. I'm another monster he turned out to be. I don't want it to be a squash because I'd like to see Sami go out on a good match. But I do think, unless of course there is an interference, which is a bit annoying, I think Bron Breakker is going to win the IC title.
Okay. Sab?
Yeah, I agree with Callum. I think the momentum that Bron Breakker's built up in this short period of time it's red hot. And when you have something like that, you have to capitalize on it. Otherwise, I think with the momentum that he's built, and he's actually, the crowd are quite behind him. They like him. He's got the crowd support. If you kill that with him losing, who knows how long it could take for him to capture that again. We've seen this before. And this is one of Vince McMahon's worst traits. He made this mistake all the time of building somebody up and then they would lose a really crucial match and then it's difficult for us as fans to care about them. Triple H would like to think is different. They've really built Bron Breakker up well. They had a good run in NXT as well. So he has to beat Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn is the perfect opponent because he can take a loss and still be red hot. He'd still be a fan favorite. He can enter into any feud and he'll have that underdog thing that he's always had. So I think Sami Zayn can take the loss. I just think Bron Breakker losing would be quite damaging to him and his character. I think he needs to win. I agree with Callum. It would be nice to see an actual proper match. Again, Sami Zayn is the perfect opponent to get a good match out of him. The only way, again, that this would make sense for Bron Breakker to not win is if there was an interference, which would be quite annoying because I don't know who else who could interfere. Ricochet he might have been gone. I think I read somewhere that he's been moved to the alumni section of the WWE website now. So unless
Hasn't
Chad Gable comes back into this, if he's recovered from his headshot, if he's, I don't know, he's Chad Gable getting involved in this in a triple threat at SummerSlam. I don't know, but yeah, I think Bron Breakker has to win this match and has to become the new Intercontinental Championship champion.
didn't Bron Breakker and Sheamus have a bit of a brawl the other week? So maybe Sheamus costs Bron Breakker, and then we get Sheamus and Bron Breakker at SummerSlam. Ooh, that could have been a big hard hitting match. Maybe. Okay, but I've listened. Yeah, both. I think you guys have made very good points. Yeah, I did. I was cautious with Sami Zayn, but now I think it probably is looking likely it's going to be Bron Breakker. But I'll stick with Sami Zayn.
This might be a really stupid question. Sorry, this might be a really stupid question, but has Sheamus won the Intercontinental Championship?
No.
Is there a thing about him not? Is this the only title he's not won?
It's the only title that he hasn't won, which is why he sort of keeps going for it. And
so then he could interfere. If him and Braun have had a thing recently, then he could get him out of the thing or insert himself into the title picture, and then they have a triple threat. I don't know. None of the things are going to happen, and again, that would be annoying still. I like Sheamus, but I think Bron Breakker has to win clean.
Okie dokie. All right. Two with Bron Breakker and myself with Sami Zayn. All right, then. Let's continue. What can we continue with? Okay. We'll go with a last chance match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yes, we have Damian Priest defending his belt, going up against Seth freaking Rollins. So, the stipulation here is if Damian Priest wins, Seth Rollins can never challenge for the title again as long as Damian Priest is champion. However, if Seth Rollins wins, Damian Priest must leave the Judgment Day. Ooh, spicy. So, this one's interesting because obviously Seth came back after Clash at the Castle and saying, "Yeah, I want that belt back that you cashed in on." Well, you cashed in on Drew. I didn't. So Seth's like, "I want that belt back." Yeah, I've got no complaints. Seth gets a rematch straight away. Fair enough. I mean, Seth Rollins. And this one's tricky. I think this is quite a tricky one because you could make a case for either guy winning, and let's not forget the winner faces Gunther at SummerSlam. So, and I think it's safe to say Gunther is going to be laying those slaps on it at SummerSlam. Laying those slaps on that. That sounded a bit weird. Right. So, Sab, we'll start with you. Damian Priest retaining, or is Seth Rollins winning? Yeah, and getting his belt back.
Yeah, like you said, real interesting one. I think the stipulations make this a really intriguing match. So much to think about other than the actual match, and also they're actually, which is quite cool that they've already announced who the winner will face at SummerSlam is also cool. So we already know what the journey looks like, what the path looks like, and I think for those reasons alone, who's waiting for them, basically, I think Damian Priest is going to retain. The stipulation that Seth can't challenge while Damian Priest is champion, I think that's fine. I think that's Damian Priest leaving the Judgment Day is quite a cool scenario. I think that will probably happen relatively soon, but after SummerSlam when he will lose to Gunther is my prediction. Yeah, I think Damian Priest is going to win. I'm not saying it's going to be clean, but I think he's going to beat Seth here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go next. I, too, am going with Damian Priest. I just think if Seth wins, then Damian Priest will leave the Judgment Day. That's a huge, and I don't think that's a huge moment. And I don't think that's been built up enough lately because obviously Liv Morgan's got a whole thing going on with Dom. And then you've got the Finn and JD McDonough have won the tag team belts back. So it's like, I think it's not really been built up enough that Damian Priest will leave. So I just think that kind of told me Damian Priest is going to retain. And plus, if Seth wins, I don't want to see him just have a month with the belt and then get squashed by Gunther at SummerSlam. So yeah, just keep it on Damian Priest, and Gunther and Damian Priest can have a brutal match at SummerSlam in which hopefully Gunther wins. So yeah, I'm going with Damian Priest to retain, and what should be a really fun match, definitely. Yeah, Damian Priest is, I think, proven he can hang on that higher level. I think in this championship reign. I think when he first won, everyone was thinking he's just a mid card who's got a title. But that match against Drew in Glasgow was really good. And he had a good match with Jay. I'm sure his match here with Seth will be really good. So yeah, I'm going with Damian Priest to retain. Callum?
I'm actually going to go with Seth Rollins.
Ooh.
Because I don't really agree with what you said in terms of the build for the end of the Judgment Day. Hasn't really been happening a lot recently, because the stuff with Liv Morgan is that. I think it'll probably eventually be, maybe you have Liv Morgan, you have Finn Balor, and you have JD. And then when Rhea comes back, maybe you have Damien, Dom, and Rhea, and you have like a two-sided Judgment Day faction thingy. And I think that's kind of the way that it's definitely going. And, there's been teases for ages about Damien not wanting them to get involved in his matches against Jay, against Drew. He was having a bit of a thing with Finn last night on Raw. Was it last night? Yes, last night on Raw, because he came out and was attacking Seth. And it's just, I feel like if you're going to have a big match at SummerSlam between, I don't know, Damien and Finn, or a tag team match or something, then you obviously need to build it for SummerSlam, which would mean, maybe, the next night on Raw, or, 2 nights after, Money in the Bank, Damian Priest coming out without the title, having, left the Judgment Day. It makes for a good story. I know that Seth is going to only have it for a month or so, because presumably he will lose to Gunther. But I also don't think that affects Seth too much either, because he's a bit like Sami Zayn. You can give him a title or not, and he's still going to be, everyone's still going to sing his song and everything else. So for that reason, just for the intrigue, I am going to go for Seth Rollins to win.
Okay. All right. Nice. 2 with Damian Priest, 1 with Seth. All right then. Okay, let's continue. We'll continue with a 6-man tag team match. No. We'll leave that for the main event. I think that's going to be the main event. So let's go with the Money in the Bank ladder match for a men's championship match contract. So yes, we have Jey Uso, who of course is on the poster, Yeet in the Bank. We have Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. That's a good match right there. Oh, this is going to be a great Money in the Bank ladder match. Same with the women. I'm sure both matches are going to pull it off and going to get some great ladder spots. Callum, you can start with this one. Who is climbing that ladder and who is pulling down that briefcase?
Yeah, well, I definitely think it's not going to be LA Knight, because presumably Logan Paul is going to cost him in this match. And then it's definitely not going to be Chad Gable, because presumably the Wyatt Six will try and decapitate him again. So it isn't going to be him either. Which obviously leaves, Andrade and Carmelo Hayes. I haven't really done a lot with Andrade since he came back. But I'm sure, I don't know what's going on with him right now. Isn't he the Speed champion?
I think
Does
so,
somebody
yeah.
know on SmackDown? Carmelo Hayes, again, maybe quite early in his run, a bit like what we were saying with like Lara Valkyria, stuff like that, perhaps for a Money in the Bank. So that would really mean Jay or Drew. And when Roman comes back in this whole thing, which we'll talk about next, Jay is presumably going to be a part of that old bloodline and that feud and stuff like that. So I'm not sure he really has time to be Money in the Bank. So I'm actually going to go for Drew McIntyre. And I don't really know why, to be honest. I've just got this sort of feeling. I know, but if I don't, does CM Punk have to cost him in every match?
Yeah, he's got to get payback for that beatdown on Raw, isn't he?
That's a good point. But yeah. But maybe he's still dead. So Drew McIntyre, wins it. Perhaps he wins the briefcase, and then I don't know. I guess you then get to Gunther at SummerSlam, when you probably need to have CM Punk and Drew. But I don't know. They'll swing something. I just can't really see it being anybody else obvious. So I'm gonna go for Drew as an outside pick.
All right. I'm looking at these guys and this is genuinely hard. Sab, who you got?
Ooh. Well, I think based if you list all the guys, there's going to be quite a lot of interferences based on what other guys are doing when they're coming in. But yeah, running through the list of guys that are in this match, Carmelo Hayes, I really like him, but I think it's, as you said, it's too soon. But I think he's going to have a great showing, just again, as they build up that momentum with him. I keep forgetting that Andrade's back with the company. That's how little they've done with him since he's come back. So we can just forget about him. Chad Gable, yeah. The White Six are going to be out for him, as they clearly are. So LA Knight, I don't really know what they're doing with him at the minute. But I don't think he's going to. It would be a shock if he won this. So I think, yeah, like Callum said, it comes down between McIntyre and Jay. The reason why I can't see it being Drew is just because he's definitely facing CM Punk at SummerSlam. I just can't see that any other way. And I think CM Punk is 100% going to cost Drew. And then, because they haven't actually made a match with each other. There's been no challenge for a match. There's been talk of a match. They just keep interfering in each other's business, right? They keep costing each other shit. Or CM Punk keeps costing Drew. And Drew is just getting more unhinged. Drew's finally got the chance to win the championship that he lost. And CM Punk costing him is going to push him over the edge when they finally get that match. Which is why I think it has to be Jey Uso. I mean, he's on the poster as well. I think he can still walk around with that briefcase and still be part of the old bloodline when they have that Civil War type thing and it being okay. I think it's going to be Jey Uso who wins Money in the Bank. And he's red hot, you know. I'm not a huge fan of him as a singles competitor, but he's so over. He's so over the crowd. His entrance and everything is so over that I think, yeah, everybody loves the E. Saw what it was like in France when he went at Backlash. It's insane. And he's on the poster as well. Seems a really harsh gig to give the guy the poster and not give him the briefcase as well in real life. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jay.
Okay, one with Drew, one with Jay. I'm really struggling here. Because Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, I don't think so. Chad Gable, yeah. Like we've said, the Wyatt Six will cost him. LA Knight, it looks very likely he's going into a feud with Logan Paul. Of course, he rolled up in Logan Paul for the qualifying match, so it makes sense Logan Paul's going to cost him, and then they'll probably have a match for the US belt at SummerSlam. So yeah, it is between Drew and Jay. And with CM Punk, I think is going to cost Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre will be about to reach for it. CM Punk will push down the ladder as revenge for the beatdown on Raw. And he stole CM Punk's bracelet, didn't he, or something? So yeah, then that finally builds up Drew and CM Punk in a massive blood feud heading towards SummerSlam. So yeah, there's only one other pick, and it's I don't even know why I'm doing that. I think it's just I'm not the biggest Jey Uso fan. I think the Yeet gimmick's just annoying personally. I think but anyway, as a singles wrestler, I do enjoy him. I just think it's a bit of an annoying gimmick. But anyway, yeah, I'm going with Jey Uso to win. I think he's probably the only logical pick when you single out the rest. So yeah, I'm going with Yeet in the Bank.
I think that's the beauty of the whole. He holds it for a year. So you can even go 2 or 3 months where we all just sort of forget that he's Money in the Bank holder. Like Damian Priest, I think there was a times where we all forgot that he was actually holding the briefcase. So Jey Uso will win this, and then immediately Roman and The Rock are probably going to come back, and then you'll have the Bloodline Civil War thing. We'll all forget for a while, and the Usos will get back together, and then we'll remember towards the end of it. Oh, wait, yeah, he's Money in the Bank. So I think Jey, yeah.
Okay. All right, 2 for Jey Uso and 1 for Drew McIntyre. Right then, let's finish off with what I think will be the main event. Well, it has to be with Cody and the Bloodline. So yes, we have a 6-man tag team match. So we have Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens versus the new Bloodline, if you want to call them that. It's not the OG Bloodline, is it? It's the brand new Bloodline. Solo as the self-proclaimed new head of the table. And Tama Tonga, Tama Loa, or Jacob Fatu. So yes, it's Cody's team are outnumbered by 1, but it will be a 3-on-3, and I assume one of the Bloodline will just be at ringside interfering. Yeah, looking forward to this. This is going to be a crazy match. They've been beating each other up on Raw, security pulling them all apart. Obviously, you have had everything going on with Solo as proclaiming himself the new head of the table. And Paul Heyman saying, "You're not my tribal chief," and then they power bombed him through the table. Oh, Paul Heyman. One of the biggest pops you've ever heard this year on Raw. It's huge. And yeah, it's great, man. Who is going to win though? This it's like you can't give the faces a loss because you've got Cody in there and you want to keep Cody looking strong. And Randy and KO have already had a few losses this year, haven't they? To the Bloodline. But then again, this new Bloodline, you want to keep them looking strong in their first big pay-per-view match together as a unit before Roman comes back and it's like, hey, what are you boys doing? He might come back at this pay-per-view and just distract Solo. I don't know. I'm going with the Bloodline to pick up the win here, probably pinning KO or Randy, and maybe, just maybe, Randy costs Cody the match, because we've seen all the teasers of Randy looking at Cody like that, or looking at the belt like that. They've teased it several times, and I think that's what we're going to be getting for Cody's next big defense, is the Randy and Cody storyline for the title. So maybe, just maybe, Randy RKO's Cody, and then thanks to that distraction, the Bloodline pin KO. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I'm going with a Bloodline win to keep them looking strong, because it's like their first big match together as the new version of the Bloodline. Okay, we've only got 6 minutes left, guys. So chip chop, Sab.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a great job with the new Bloodline. Didn't think that's where they were going to go after WrestleMania, but they've done such a good job, and it sets it up brilliantly when Roman returns as a big super baby face that I think the WWE always wanted it to be. Yeah, I think it has to be the Bloodline. They have to look strong. As you said, it's their first show as a new group. We don't know which three, though, do we, of the Bloodline it's going to be? Obviously Solo and then one of the other three. But I think you can imagine that they're going to interfere like the Bloodline used to do anyway. And yeah, I'm quite intrigued by your Randy turning on Cody idea. I think the Bloodline will win. I won't think you'll have a Randy turn, but I think you'll have one of the remaining Bloodline members interfering and then getting the job done. It'll look like Cody and the guys are going to win, but you know how it goes. But you got to look the guys strong, and they've done a great job, and it sets up perfectly when Roman returns, which I don't think will be at this show, but it's coming. It's very soon. Yeah. So Bloodline, new Bloodline 2.0 are going to win this.
Okay, Callum.
Yeah, I think Jacob Fatu is going to be like the new Solo for this Bloodline and be more of the enforcer, the person who stands at the side and interferes when needed. I do think the new Bloodline are going to win. I mean, like Solo could even feasibly pin Cody. I'm fairly certain the direction for SummerSlam is that it's going to be Cody versus Solo for the title. So for that reason, the Bloodline win, so that Solo can get his match. Because I mean, lots of rumors, pretty reputable sources, Solo came out and was looking at the belt after Clash of the Castle. That was the original thing, possibly. So from what I heard, it was SummerSlam that was going to be the match, which I imagine is where Roman then comes back. For the massive pop at SummerSlam, that leads on further to the Bloodline Civil War, stuff like that. And then Cody can probably move on to something like Randy when he's sort of finished with that. But I don't think this will be the end. I think Solo wants the title match. And I think, Roman will then cost them after that. So new Bloodline to win, because the story needs to progress. And this is their first time as a full unit. They need to show themselves as the powerhouses to justify, the new change. So new Bloodline win. Okay,
all three of us unanimous with the new Bloodline to get the win. Okay, well, so concludes our video. Thank you all for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you will enjoy SummerSlam. SummerSlam. Welcome. You'll get to know my famous botches, Sab. Callum knows them all too well. I botched like several times in the video, and some of them are legendary.
That was a good one.
If you go back and watch some of our earlier videos, there's some famous ones. Anyway,
some of them are legendary.
So yes, we hope you all enjoy Money in the Bank this weekend. I'll be back with Callum and Sab, of course, probably sometime late July, mid to late July, with our SummerSlam predictions. Yes, the big one, SummerSlam is taking place in early August, I believe. So yes, we're back for our predictions for SummerSlam in about 2-3 weeks, give or take, whenever that is. So thank you all for watching, guys. Thank you for joining me, Callum, as always, and thank you for joining me, Sab. You've done great in the first video. And
thank you.
Yes, well, you of course, with the podcast, you know what you're doing. You're a pro. All right. So yes, thank you all for watching, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you all soon. We do a salute, Sab. Do you want a salute? we all do a salute for this video.